Hi guys, I'm back. I thought that I would come back and talk about what I was talking about this morning because somebody said something that I've been thinking about, and it is important how really unimportant thinking about the fact that so what, we're being censored. Oh well. Um, I really want to be on top of things. Um, And I know thinking about the internet being censored really is very unimportant. So I wanted to let that person know that I agree with them. Um, we get on the internet and we watch all these people, and they're so interesting and they're so fluffy and pretty and exciting, and they have so much to share, and they're so influential, and everybody wants to be the uber seller of information. Anyway, hi Claire, how's it going? This morning I was on here and I was talking about the internet being censored in the United States, and everybody wants to talk about news and things like that. And I really just want to talk about what the normal person like you and me are supposed to do. Um, Times are changing so rapidly, and I still have not found a job, and I'm tired. And I've been going through all of my paperwork, and I came to the realization that, there's probably a lot of people out here like me that we're in the United States. We have to have a class action lawsuit about PTSD. Like, how many of us have PTSD? Well, what do you think? I mean, I really do think that I was sitting behind my laptop and I watched as the web bar was changing, and it was saying that I wasn't on a protected site anymore. And it was telling me that I wasn't on Google, but it looked like Google almost. It wasn't as, there was something off. But it happened for a while. It went on for a few months, and then it changed, and it wasn't doing it anymore. It was just a little sticky thing I noticed because I'm really observant of everything. And you know how you have your web link up here and it says where you're at? Well, I would go to Google and then I would copy and paste the Google to open a new page. And when I would put it over there, all of a sudden the bar would open up and things just looked slightly different. And got to thinking that as I watched more and more information from the internet start to disappear, there were so many things that I've seen over time that I know are there. And then I've spent all kinds of hours trying to get it back. And I know that the internet, once you put something on the internet, all the way down to a text message from your cell phone, it is on the internet. Somebody somewhere, some techie somewhere can go find it, because all it is it's just a string of numbers. And those string of numbers go into the ethernet and nobody can erase it. There's no way to 100% absolutely positively brush, like Hillary said, bleaching from the internet. I mean, there are ways to make it look like it's gone, but once you put it in there, it's permanent for life. Like, it's who we are. We've recorded it on the internet. Some way it's connected to your IP address at some point in time. I mean, you can get off of it, but there's the virtual worldwide internet that everybody had access to at one time. And then after a while, everybody's devices just started accessing Google itself. And I feel like Google is just one server. Know that there are a multitude of different Google servers all over the world, but I feel like in the United States, when you get on Google, you are getting just a subjective amount of information, just a itty bitty piece of information. And That's not cool because if we don't see what everybody is saying, then we're not getting all of the pieces of information. And when somebody's going in and erasing things because they don't want us to see it, my mind says that must be really important information. Why would they scrub something like a tattoo artist with something that an entity that's growing on his back? Why would they scrub that from the internet? I saw this video once where there's like it's the CCTV cameras and it is recording the main area of a hotel, and in the hotel there's like a balcony, and it's as if we're watching the CCTV camera from the floor, and it's pointing up into the balcony, and up on the balcony there are these little chairs where people can sit and drink their coffee in the morning. Well, these people come from on the screen, these people come from one side of the screen and they're up on that balcony, and there's a elevator, and two people step off of the elevator and they walk towards a gentleman that's sitting up in the balcony at the table, and they walk over to the gentleman at the table, and they say something to him, and as he begins to stand up, some scuffle happens and this big ball of light happens, and all three of them go poof and they disappear. And the CCTV camera caught this, and it was on the internet. It was definitely there. I saw it. I've been looking for it. I've seen things that slightly resemble it, but it is not this particular reel. And it was back in the days, like when YouTube first started, maybe like in 2007 or 8, it was there. Tattoo guy, it was definitely from a different country. Uh, it was sort of grainy, but the tattoo artist is drawing, and as he's drawing, this parasite looking thing starts to like develop behind him, and you can see like this aura hanging off of his back, and it's almost like the statues they have in Sweden. And I think it is a like a parasitic vampire. I think a lot of artists have them. I think they're influenced by them. And I think when somebody records them on the television, or when they record them back in the day with the camcorders, you could really record them. I think they figured out how to depixelate those things from the screen now. Hi, Robert Lee. How are you, honey? I was just getting on here because this morning I was talking about how I think that if you're in the United States, you're only getting a little portion of information and they are wiping the internet clean. But I also wanted to talk about something that I came across that reminded me that a lot of us have PTSD. Like a lot of people in the United States, and I'm sure in other countries that are being run like the United States, we have PTSD really bad. Um, what do you do for a living when you have like you've come to the conclusion that like everything is either dangerous or just it's unprofitable? I've been Ubering for a while. I've been Ubering for the last year now, and I actually was really starting to love it. But then all of a sudden, it's like I went from making, 10, $12 a ride to like $4 or $5 a ride. And it's as if Uber is participating with everybody else. The grocery store. I went to the grocery store, and what cost me $40 3 weeks ago cost me $80 this week. I'm just totally baffled by how everything's going up 75%. Anyway, I originally got on here because operandus was pointing out the fact that what was it important? If we're being censored, we're being censored. So what? So my point was we really have to remember that books are still very important because that's where all of the information it's written down. They can't go back and erase it. They can burn it, they can get rid of it, but they can't erase it. You worked for Just Eat? What's Just Eat, Robert Lee? You're in the UK, right? Yeah, I'm in the United States. Um, it's so weird because TV was just talking about DoorDash. Um, what is Just Eat? You worked there. I was reading they have two different versions of the oh, it's Uber. And I'm in Binghamton, United States. Haha. In fact, before I moved here, I thought it was in the UK because it sounded like a UK city. Binghamton, New York is upstate New York. It's in the country. Well, what a city folk would consider the country. It's pretty nice. I like I told you guys before, the man who wrote The Twilight Zone, I don't know how much they pumped The Twilight Zone out in the UK, but The Twilight Zone was really popular here in the United States for 30 years. It used to be on like Sunday nights, every Tuesday night, and it was a TV sitcom. And, it was black and white for the most part. But Rod Serling, he was born here in the town that I live in. Hi, guys. I have to clean my glasses, but I can't see anything without them. I can't read anything without them. Anyway, Rod Serling was born here, and I moved here 32 years ago, and I've been stuck here ever since. And it really sucks, but I was reading the Hippocratic Oath for the United States medical field, and back in the day, they used to have to swear an oath to the doctors that taught them their skills, and it sounds like witchcraft. But then years later, they did a new version of the Hippocratic Oath. No, you're fine, Shams. I just was getting on here because this morning I had talked about the fact that our internets are being censored. And I just, one of my community pointed out that it wasn't real important to worry about that stuff. And I just wanted to agree with him. You can see my painting back there. It's coming along all right. It looks a little bit foggy from here, but that's what I wanna do for a living. I wanna paint. I wanna take care of my dogs. I don't wanna go sit in an office for 5 hours or 8 hours a day, have the whole thing end up being 12 hours a day. I'm so tired. And I was saying how I think that everybody has PTSD. You know, how are our government officials making $700,000 a year just in one situation? In the United States, there's this club. It's called the SES, and all of the celebrities and all of our politicians are a part of the SES. And basically, what the SES is it's a forever paycheck. It's just another $100,000 a year paycheck to these people to where they make sure that they're always getting paid off of the taxpayers' dollars. And I'll tell you guys, I paid taxes for a good 35 years of my life. And when I go back and I do the math on all the taxes, and they say that they are making money off of our actual living, like off of our birth certificates and our social security number if you're a registered voter. They're like playing us like a deck of cards. So yeah, I really painted both of those. Thank you for asking. Um, that one, it doesn't really look as good as it does in person. It's a huge painting. My cousin told me he'd give me 2 grand for it, but I have a lot of paintings. My kids love my paintings. I'm more into like abstract art. Like this is a galaxy, and now it's just going to be shiny. But Anyway, I'm watching these people, they all get famous. They're making money. A big way to make money in the United States right now is knowing how to write grant funding. Um, I asked you, Shams, about the Lima Takata chick, Lima Jeromovich. She's going by a bunch of different names. Um, I guess because I'm saying these people's names, I want to just give a disclosure that these are all of my own opinions based on information that I am getting from reading the tabloids, the newspapers, the internet. These people are, their faces are all over the place. And, these people, BJ Investigates was covering this chick. And I started finding out that, there's this club and they're all taking advantage of the government funding out there. Here, I can barely even make my car payments, and every month it's getting harder and harder. This month, I can't even make my car payment this month. I do not know how I'm going to make my car payment, and I don't know what that means. I'm sure it means some dude comes with, some kind of truck and tows it away, and then what? Then what? I don't know. That stuff infuriates me. So, like I was talking about the Hippocratic Oath in the United States, everything is a club. It's infuriating. This Lima chick, though, she knows what she's doing. The people in California, I don't know what it is out there in California, but you guys, a lot of you guys know how to get this government funding. You're writing your letters, you're making videos. Like I can tell you right now that there is absolutely no way that you can cure somebody with a chemical addiction with a virtual reality machine. It doesn't work. I don't like the way I look today. It doesn't work that way. Nobody has money. And where I live, see, if they're earning millions off of our birth certificates, how do I just, tap into it without them coming to my house and arresting me? Somebody told me we all have these funds. Look at you guys. I really have these funds because I got taken away from my mom when I was 5 years old. My whole family tried to fight for me, but it was a situation where my dad was not interested. So he signed whatever he needed to sign. And I don't blame them. They were teenagers. I couldn't expected anything else. But they wicked got taken advantage of. And then when I got older, I made sort of the same mistake. It took me quite a few years to get smart to what the game was. Excuse me for 1 second, you guys. All right, so my nose started running. It's silly. It's like the weather here it's miserable and gray, and it's you know allergy weather. But I want to get back to that Hippocratic Oath thing. I have a lot of paintings and I would love to be an artist. Um, Nobody really gave me the faculties to do that kind of thing. I've always just, there's a lot of people like me that were just like, yeah, there's so many brilliant artists out there. I'm watching them. A lot of people will, follow around homeless people, and it's just heart wrenching to me how many people are suffering. I was just talking about it this morning. We drive around town, and there are so many empty houses. How are there empty houses and homeless people? Can someone tell me how there are empty houses and homeless people? I don't get it. I want to kick the doors in and have the electricity turned on and get the hell out of here. There should not be any homelessness in the United States. We are a very wealthy country. Nancy Pelosi, I have on my TikTok, Nancy Pelosi made this interview where she has 2 houses, not 1, but 2 houses, and in these houses, not only does she have a freezer in her house, but she says she's got a freezer outside in her den, in her rec room, in her gorgeous area to go hang out with all her family that our tax dollars paid for while there are people living out on the street. She's got drawers full of chocolate ice cream. People living our dreams. It's not right. There's an abundance of money out there, you guys. There is an abundance. There's an overwhelming plethora of resources for anyone who knows how to tap into them. My problem is I can't stay consistent from day to day and I can't tap into it. I'm obviously not going to tap into it Ubering. I am not going to tap into it sitting behind a desk in somebody's office where they got a roll of paper and we're all calling these telephone numbers for them as they sit cushy on the beach someplace. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Oh, Robert, thank you. That's very sweet. That is very sweet. We're all over the world, Shams. We're twins. We are twins in it. At 3 o'clock, I have to go DoorDash. I'm gonna DoorDash from 3 to 7. I have my Uber, but the problem is I spent like a quadrillion dollars all summer long having all this work done on my car, and every single thing that got done on the car ends up being shasted, feisty, freaking wrong. Making up my own words. Um, it infuriates me that all that, Meghan Markle had to do was go do some plastic surgery and get picked by the club. That's what tells me the only way to really make that kind of money is to be selling your soul. And I don't want to sell my soul. You know, somebody told me that I can tap into the money in here. Robert, you say through my paintings. Maybe, I always had this dream of having my paintings in the background in Hollywood movies. And then I realized that I don't want anything to do with Hollywood whatsoever. They're a bunch of wrong kind of people to be hanging out with. Isaac Cappy made that real clear, huh? You don't have to retract anything you say. Um, This Lima chick, I'm watching her videos and I was listening to her sales pitch. And you guys, she's selling this thing, okay? This infuriates me. These people. So she is selling a pitch to all the richest people in the world. Uh, she's selling this pitch where you use a virtual reality jiggy to help people get clean and sober off of alcohol and opioid addiction. Okay, I don't care what anybody says, nobody is getting off of alcohol or opioid addiction using a virtual reality this headset. Um anyway, it's just, I am a cautionary tale of what the system does to a human. you know, um, when they remove you from your family and then they make money off of you. CPS makes money off of you, and then they groom you to do whatever they need you to do as a robot. And as long as they are making money off of you, it's cool. The minute they stop making money off of you, they throw you to the wolves. Everybody in this country, I don't care what you're doing, pumping gas, working at McDonald's, packing up the groceries, you should be making enough money to have a nice little abode and a ability to call your family on the weekends over to have dinner, and every once in a while take a vacation to Disney World. That's where the country should be at. In fact, I know for a fact for the United States and where you guys are in the UK, we should all be comfortable enough to visit each other. To take family vacations, to enjoy the same riches that these punks are. Why does Amber Heard get to do all of that stuff she just did to this country? They used her as a puppet. to sell this notion, this Me Too movement, where they just made more money off of all of these social funds, because that's what they do. They apply for nonprofit grants and they get $150,000 out of this grant and $250,000 out of that grant. And all of these grants pay their bills while some of us sit out here and Uber them around. And, the minute that, somebody hijacks the White House, what's going on in the world is just chaos. And when I step outside, it's just chaos. So, just the dystopian future. I don't want any part of it. I have no problem planting a couple tomatoes every year and sharing it with my community or whatever it is we have to do. I don't know what we have to do anymore, but we can't create jobs when they outsourced everything and then they knocked down the manufacturing businesses. Instead of updating things and keeping things in motion, they just moved them out of our communities. And Hillary Clinton knows exactly what I'm talking about because before she stepped her feet into our town, we were making our own milk. I could buy a house for 40 or $50,000 and I can afford to pay back my student loans and I could afford to take care of, paying my car loan and whatnot. She stepped into town and they outsourced everything we make. We don't make anything in our town anymore, not nothing. We have the Lay's. We make Lay's potato chips in my town and a couple of other things, but and they were trying to fight to get this battery factory here, but they don't want to get rid of batteries here. I mean, it's just like they want to dump more toxic waste here. I have worked all my life and I have nothing to show for it. And I did. I used to go to work every day and I remember sitting for an hour in my car thinking I was working for the collection agencies and I was making phone calls all day long to collect money off of old people on Social Security. I literally talked 85-year-old women into setting up payment plans for Capital One where I know that Capital One claimed the insurance on that paper already, and another company also collected insurance off of that paper because they're all part of this Ponzi scheme to just liquidate stuff and take advantage of each other. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. I sit in my car crying for an hour, eating my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, hoping to God I would make enough money on this week's paycheck to take care of all of the bills I needed to take care of. And as a single woman in the United States, working a 9 to 5, when barely got through high school and got taken advantage of enough for a $40,000 loan so that they could milk that too, because we all know that was just another scam. Anyway, I am just a ranter. And I know they're taking advantage of us with information now. Information is being taken off of the internet from us. Why? Why are they taking that information? Why was it that South Park knew that Donald Trump was going to come down that escalator and somebody up on that escalator was going to drop that piece of paper? And when he came down the escalator a couple years later, everybody was going to get COVID. Remember the little COVID on the head? And just, it's a game. It's just a game. All of our communities are being played with our minds. I'm tired of being a rat in a cage, so you guys, I'm so tired. Why can Meghan Markle not have to worry about her car loans? Why? Because she works for something, the thing that's milking everything out of our communities. The thing that made sure when I changed my tires, you guys, I paid and got brand new tires put on my car, and I took it to a professional company to have them put on, and ugh, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. It's like, we are being, what is the word? We are, I don't know what the word is. I can't think of the word, but it's like it doesn't matter what you do, something's going to happen wrong with it. So I'm just trying to go with it. I'm just trying to go with it. I just don't know how. Like I said, I'm going to go work from 3 to 7 and get taken advantage of. You're doing a good job too, Shams. I'm really proud of you. You are a beautiful soul who talked me into doing this. And I do have like this plan. Like I want to, tell my story, and if anything, at very least it's recorded for the space aliens and my children to come back on and watch and say, "Hey, that was my mom." And I can get on here and be just as beautiful as those people, and I don't need any plastic surgery, you know? When I've had my shower and did up my hair and do up my makeup, I can look just as fake as them with a filter or two. Yeah, I just really want to, come on here, expose them. You see, that Meghan Markle is tossing the ball to Paris Hilton, who's tossing the ball to Serena Williams, who's tossing the ball to Michelle Obama, who's tossing the ball to Oprah Winfrey, and they're keeping the money in their little club. So I just want to figure out how to get a ball and keep the money in our club. You know, let's toss around a little government money here and there and make sure that Sham's electric is paid every month and it's the very last thing she ever has to worry about again. Or that my car, when the tire won't stay full, when I pay $1,000 to have those things taken care of, that I don't need to worry about it. You know, I wanna be in the same boat as Meghan Markle and Amber Heard, who all she had to do, I can't believe that, that male emotional and physical abuse is so frowned upon that Amber Heard was able to get on TV and take advantage of society and make all kinds of money on the Me Too movement, because that money didn't go to real domestic violence victims. They kept that money in the club. That's all the Me Too movement was. Keep the money in the club. It's the same thing the Missing and Exploited Children Fund, because I hear people going missing. I hear kids going missing, and I see, Grandma Moses and Grandma Thomas and Grandma Peter and Grandma Paul all making donations to those organizations. And I see Ashton Kutcher out here in the news. I see all of that, what's going on. I see it. You guys see it. So I'd love to just let them do whatever the hell it is they do. But now now it's really trickling down to society because they really got to milk the sponge. They're milking that sponge until there's no money left. And the thing is they can't really. Because I know for a fact there is an abundance of everything. I watch it, it's made, it's there, it's moving. I see it. There is an abundance. So, how do we tap in? How do we tap in? So, I get this thought in my mind and I think, stop thinking about the negative stuff. Okay, fine. Well, stop thinking about the negative stuff and start talking about the positive stuff. How do we manifest the positive stuff to get the negative stuff to stop flowing to them and to start getting the positive stuff to flow to us? Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of having it for a second and then it's ripped away from me because they bump up the price on everything to make sure that I can't keep anything. And then they come after me for more and more and more and more. And, I get these letters in the mail that you owe this and you owe that and you owe this. And I would love to pay everyone. I really would love to pay everyone. But when everyone keeps going up and up and up, I remember at one point I was paying AT&T $1,100 a month to keep my business phone. I remember crying on the phone just to keep my business phone on to run my business so that I could pay all my techs so that they could eat. But then meanwhile, I'm not eating because my partner's taking advantage of me on the other end because he's getting paid the money on his end. And it's just, who can milk it from me to the point where I just get so tired and I end up not being able to pay for everything again. And it's just the same old rat race. What do you do? Okay. I want to sue for the PTSD. That's what I want to do. And it's crazy because my son is starting to feel that way too. Well, if it's buffering, it's because I'm starting to talk about the real stuff that they don't want me to talk about. That's all. That's all I can think. Anyway, you guys, I really didn't want to stay on for that long. I didn't want to keep you that long. I figured I'd stay on for an hour, rant my rave, figure out my footing. I know that BJ has a studio. I don't have a studio, but I want to talk about all the same stuff that they're talking about because BJ started talking about real stuff and all of a sudden she's getting sued. She's getting sued for libel. And she gave her little disclosure about how this is her information based on, her own observations and she's a lawyer. So I just really wanted to be careful and, but I want to know how Lima Takata, Lima Jeromovich is getting on and doing all of these little pitches. And I realize she's pitching to the Shark Tank and she's pitching to that one and she's pitching to this one. Who do I pitch to get somebody to help me get funding so that we can get our business off the ground? Because I'll tell you what, with $50,000 in my bank account that stayed there for a second without all the sharks coming to get it, with $50,000 in my bank account, I could get my business off the ground and, help my kids and get rolling. But that kind of money doesn't come to me. Like, I've never gotten a tax return. Like, all these people were getting, like, $12,000 tax returns. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm lying. There were several years that I was getting tax returns, and I was taking my tax returns, and I was giving it to my sister-in-law so that she can maintain our house. We all got this house together, and I wanted to make sure that when my kids got older, they had roots. House got stolen from us by Wells Fargo and HUD because that was a Ponzi scheme that they came into my town. They came into my town and they Ponzi'd a whole bunch of middle class people out of properties with these loans that never. Ugh. Anyway, I don't wanna talk about that. A lot of those houses now are still empty because they got foreclosed on, and all those poor people that were, in their 60s and 70s and 80s got kicked out of their houses, and they got shipped to the old folks' homes, and old folks' homes, I got a whole story written about that. I mean, that's added to my PTSD. Where's that story, you guys? I won't, I could tell you that story because I told you I'd stay on for an hour, but I was reading through this and I didn't realize that I recorded all this stuff. And I guess I recorded all this stuff because if I can't take out a lawsuit, if I don't have the organization or the brains to do it, maybe my kids will do it. But there's organized crime going on in our nursing homes with our nursing homes and New York State. And you guys in the UK, you'll get on TV, you'll see that in New York, we have a governor. Her name is Kathy Hochul. She's just another one of their grubs. She's worked for the same people for 12 years, so she's not a new face, but she gets out there and my 70, 80-year-old mom thinks she's pretty and she's smart and she talks the talk and she walks the walk and she goes and gets her Botox pox done on all of our taxes. But, the scam happening is once they can't get any more money out of your insurance, they kill you off. They let you die. Um, they had my father-in-law going through this stuff. They were trying to get his Social Security from him. They wanted him to sign over his Social Security to the nursing home, and they promised, I'm lying, all of it wasn't gonna go to them. They were gonna let him have $50 a month out of his nursing home money. And, anyway, you guys, they end up killing him. Moving him from nursing home to nursing home to nursing home to hospital, they end up killing him. And, I spent 8 months going from place to place, from morning to night. Nobody was paying me for it. I did it because he was afraid to be in those places alone, because if we left him in those places alone for any more than 3 or 4 hours, he was completely neglected. One time we came in, he was an amputee, was missing his leg, and we would go in and he'd be all lurched over in his wheelchair, and it was just incredible. These nursing homes are awful in the United States. So, anyway, I don't really wanna go into that. I am good at painting. Shams thinks that I should just get on the internet and paint every day and people will watch me paint. I could be the next what's his name with the curly hair guy? Who was he? The curly hair guy? I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I'm tired and I'm getting ready to go Uber. Don't leave, Shams. I want you to go live so that I can go drive and listen to you and your beautiful voice. And tell everybody, like, sub, share. This isn't really what I intend on doing. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing on my TikTok, where I make those little, couple of minute skits about what's going on in the world. Bob Ross. Thank you, Propane. Bob Ross. I would love to be Bob Ross. I could paint happy little trees all day long. That I painted that 12 years ago. Who was to know that the octopus was going to start coming apart? We're seeing it right before our eyes. Hollywood is falling apart. They're not going to get all our money anymore. People aren't going to pay billions of dollars to go to the movies and to spend all of our money during Christmas on all their memorabilia. They're going down. They're taking advantage. They're living in compounds while the people in Maui can't even get $700. They were all supposed to get $700, and those that did get their $700, I can assure you they spent it in the first 2 hours because their landlords wanted it and they wanted to have a snack. They might have needed a coat. What happened to the people in Maui was disgusting, okay? I got 20 more minutes. We'll talk about what's happening in Maui, how Oprah Winfrey and The Rock got on TV and collected a few millions of dollars and lost it. Nobody knows where it went. Just like 9/11. Okay? Just like 9/11. What happened in New York is a travesty, okay? And it happened in New Orleans with Katrina. Same thing. All of us, none of us got anything, okay? I'm not saying me, I just mean the regular folks, okay? And me in the essence where, I've been trafficked my whole life. And now here I am, 50 years old. Nobody can make any money off of me anymore. They're waiting. They're waiting until I collect my Social Security, though. I can assure you of that. They can't wait till I collect my Social Security because then there's more money for them to make off of me. What is going on in Maui is very disgusting. And you guys, they keep it in the family. I'm going through my notebook here. Okay. And I wrote this notebook 10 years ago, you guys. I was writing about Doria Ragland and Meghan Markle and their connection to Gayle King and Oprah Winfrey. Okay. They're keeping it all together. So, anyway, okay. What happened with Maui? and The Rock and Oprah Winfrey getting on TV and asking grandma and grandpa for donations for the people of Maui, and the people of Maui didn't get it. And there are still a lot of people stuck on that island not getting anything. But what they want to do is they want to build it back up. From what I understand, the government tented everything up and isn't letting everybody back on their land. And, I mean, that stuff can be raked up. It can be cleaned up and raked up, and those people should be allowed back to their damn homes. I saw a picture of you, Robert Lee. I know what you look like. You're young as hell. You're young. You're young as hell. Hi, Dilly. I was just getting on here to talk for an hour. I wanted to do an hour live. I just wanted to spit some facts, talk about the fact that I think that the internet in the United States is being highly censored, especially on YouTube. And there are videos, YouTube. I should be able to go all the way back to the beginning of time with YouTube and pull up any content that wasn't illegal or against community guidelines or breaking any rules. And when I'm going back, there's a lot of stuff I can't find, so all it tells me is it's real. It's stored in my brain and it's stored on the internet somewhere, but it's being kept from us right now. And hey, you guys, I want y'all to know that when I was talking about Amber Heard and Paris Hilton and Megan earlier, I am not jealous of those women. I have no reason to be. Just because I cannot afford Botox and plastic surgery, it doesn't mean that I don't have an opinion and a voice, and I want to share it with society. I want society to know that the New York State and the Florida government owe me money because they made money off of me, and because I'm pretty sure that it's way past the statute of limitations. So, since it's against the statute of limitations, I figured if I start to tell my story live on the internet, somebody can put me in the right direction. Um, Doria and Megan sure figured out the right direction, didn't they? They found the right direction. I don't want to speak out for the WEF. I'm not worried about me and my children's eco footprint. I don't want to collect money that way. I don't want to start nonprofit organizations that milk the system, that keep it almost impossible for the rest of us to have the things we need. I don't want to apply for social services and welfare. I just wanna go out and Uber and DoorDash and get paid what I was getting paid a month ago. Well, it must be in the genes, Robert. Me and my family, we look very young too. I mean, I'm starting to get the lines, and I do have to dye my hair. But to be honest with you guys, my hair is actually a lot lighter. I'm a lot more lighter haired. But I am Mexican. My dad looks like he just came over the border. We are whatever we are. I'll tell you what, one of my cousins did one of those genealogy things in our family from, like ancestry.com or 23andMe. I didn't want anything to do with it because I am convinced they're collecting our DNA for something. Or, if they find out you got something, they'll come get it or whatever. I'm too old to worry about that stuff anymore. And, a lot of it isn't real. It's just put there to keep us in place. I'm not afraid of AI anymore. I'm going to tell you my age, Robert. I'm 50 years old. I was born in 1973. I'm 50 years old. I'm running out of time. I want to be a newscaster. I want to get on here and be able to tell you guys the news that I watch every day without getting in trouble for telling it. I wanted to be, I really wanted to be Megan Kelly. I wanted to be Connie Chung. I grew up wanting to do that. And then when I realized I didn't really have what it took, I wasn't in the right families. And, I mean, I went through the foster care system and I was adopted for several years by a really awesome family who have been very good to me. And they might watch this someday. And, I'm really disconnected. So I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, I was born in January of 1973. I was born in January 1973. The day that I was born, they called Vietnam. It was done. It was toast. They said that they said that they were ending the Vietnam War. I was born during one of the biggest blizzards in the state of New York in Buffalo. Um, oh, Dilly, you were born in 73 too? August. You're lucky. Summer baby. My boyfriend, Tom, the guy who makes the the guitar picks. He makes guitar picks. We'd really love to sell these guitar picks. They're ergonomically correct. They are so awesome. We'd like to find the funding. I know there's funding out there for him. You know, um, I could be marketing his guitar picks, and I really don't want to stay where I'm living. I want to go live out in the country with my dogs so I can let them out every day so that they can enjoy fresh air and be outside. And right now, where I live in an IBM house because it's all I can afford, and I can barely afford it. In the IBM houses, we have filters in the basement of I'm 50. I just turned 50, 73. Anyway, I'm almost done because I only have 10 more minutes, so I won't go too deep into the IBM houses. But there's another thing where they should be paying us. They should be paying us. But, New York State, you really owe me big time. You owe me big time, New York State. State of Florida, Broward County, you guys owe me money. That's all. Whoever made money off me should pay me back because I'm not a human being to be trafficked. My son, what you did to him, he's not a human to be trafficked. What you did to the both of us was very wrong. So, New York State, I'm figuring it out. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know there are a lot of me out there, and there are a lot of men and women who made money off of me and my kids, and them and their kids. There are a lot of us. I never laid a hand on any of my kids, and I have two normal, decent kids who were just blocks away from my other kid being abused. And it's highly upsetting. And I'm not staying on that long to go into it. And I don't really want to go too deep into it, but I do want New York State to know that all of the career criminals in all of the positions that did what they did to do what you did to us, all I want you to do is pay us back. That's all I want you to do. Okay? New York, just pay us back. Just pay us back so that we can live as comfortably as you all lived off of us for all those years. Pay us back for those years that you lived off of us. I should start doxing names because you lived off of us like we were some kind of human trash to live off of. And it's not fair because we suffered because of it. We suffered because of it. It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm dealing with it now. I'm dealing with it now in my mind and in my heart. So it is just, you think so? Oh, I'm flattered. These are all mine. I've never had a cavity. I've never needed braces or anything like that. And my adopted mom, she refused to get that gap fixed. She said that someday I will be famous for it and I will be on TV, probably from my art. I would do anything to be an artist. I'm going to start crying. That's stupid. I am a little upset with New York State. That's not a filter, Robert. Wait a minute, I'll be right back. All right, so my dog gets worried about me, right? My dog gets worried about me when I'm getting upset. He thinks that there's something wrong with me. He hates when I get upset. He just sits over here and stares at me. Um, no, that's no filter. I have the lines to show. I have a 23-year-old daughter, a 27-year-old son, and a 33-year-old son. It was my 33-year-old son. He would really like to go after the state with me, but we don't have the faculties. The people that made money off of us, they were smart. They took advantage of me when I was a very young teenager, left to the wolves. And they were programming us, you guys. They were programming us when I was going to school in the 80s. They were programming us to be over sexualized and overstimulated. And I just wanted to be accepted with whatever group I was hanging out with. And I mean, I really just lived my life chasing after a couch to sleep on. Oh, God, and, I got taken advantage of when I went to college. They took advantage of me with that. I found out that was nothing but a Ponzi scheme. Um, a Mormon? I wish. Um I wish I was a Mormon. I wanted to be. You know what? After it's so crazy, you guys, but after like I took off when I was a young teenager. I got 5 minutes. I took off when I was like a young teenager from my adopted situation, and I went and I found my biological parents, and they were still pretty screwed up. But I have this really, really awesome stepmom that was married to my dad for quite a few my adopted father, my biological father, and my stepmom. She's so cool. She encourages me to do something on the internet, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like right now, I'm just here to talk to my community. Um, I don't think it's fair that these people out here are making all kinds of money off of all of these nonprofit organizations when I have a business, but I don't have the faculties or the know-how, and I think a lot of people keep us away from that. No, but in the home I was raised in, from 7 till 14. So from 7 to 14, I was placed, and I was adopted. And I am not going to dox anyone's names. But they tried their best. But I mean, I was robbed in that situation too because I think they thought, they did their duty by giving me a place to stay. And they were young, and we did things like everyone else did, like the Brady Bunch. We had Christmas and went to church and looked for our Easter baskets on Easter and went to church on Sunday for Easter Sunday. And I was an acolyte for a few years where I had to wear that kata and walk with the thing in church. And I did get a lot of God in me. And I thought that sex and violence, and there were certain things we weren't allowed to watch on TV. And my adopted mom, she's pretty cool. We didn't really understand each other, see eye to eye, when I was going through the change. When I was little, it was great. It was great from 7 to 12. It was great. And then some things went down, and it forever stuck me. Like I was saying last time, I'm stuck at 15. Ugh. I don't know, why does that make me wanna cry, you saying that? Alright, I'm gonna go anyway. I can't draw anything. Like, I draw like a 5-year-old when I try to actually draw a picture. Everything is abstract and it flows out of me. Like when I'm painting, it just comes out of me. I have to do whatever comes out of me. I can't, like, somebody couldn't say, "Could you paint this for me?" Although I have, oh, I wish I had a picture of it. I used to work for this Italian restaurant and he had this statue of an Italian guy holding a pizza, and the statue was awesome, but somebody kicked it over and broke it, so I brought it home and I re-cemented it and I fixed it, and, it sucks, Robert. It sucks. What do we do? It's not really the bad I want to profit off my bad life. That's what I wanna do. I wanna profit. I want to turn my bad life into something powerful and something good. Um, I know that I can, like I was saying, that Parasite that I was watching, growing on that tattoo guy, that's what's here. That's what's going on, you guys. There's like 2 different things happening at the same time. And something's hanging on to me and it won't let me go. Yeah. Now can you hear me, Dilly? Tell me. Now can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. What I was saying is it is spiritual warfare, and that's another reason why I wanted to come onto the internet because I think that I want to do my blossoming. Like I turned 50, and I really did grow up wanting to be famous, and I don't want to be famous anymore. But what I do want to do is I want to make like a technological record of my growing, of my blossoming, from like this moment over here of me painting on the internet and showing the world. And What I was saying about Abraham Hicks, Abraham Hicks says that we can bring anything to us. I have to go dash in 20 minutes. Um, we can bring anything to us with the force of positive thinking. And I read the book of Power of Positive Thinking when I was younger, and I do think positively, I really do, but I also positively feel like my state took advantage of me and made so much money off of me that they should just have to pay me back, you know? I want to be reimbursed for being trafficked by my state and all of the money that they made off of me and my son. And it's out there because I know that Bill and Hillary Clinton passed a bill to make money off of us. So, I don't really ask for much. And I mean, I'd even be willing to settle out. I mean, I'm at that point where it's just like, I struggled. I struggled. I'm tired of struggling, so I'm thinking positive, and I want to bring the chi, the correct chi, and I want this vampire spirit that has been sucking off of me since I was 5 years old. I want to be released of it. I want it to go away. I don't want every time, I try to do something good and meaningful, somebody has to stomp all over it? And so I thought I would make a physical recording, a diary per se, of, myself on the internet. And I don't care if nobody ever watches it. Someday, my kids will be able to go back and watch it and be like, hey, that was my mom, or the spirits that are out there somewhere else that are watching us, that have control over everything that's happening, that hear me. I want them to hear me. I am ready. I am ready for my great awakening. It's time. I want to be noticed. I want to have my moment. I want to not have to worry about where the tampons are coming from, or that I'm going to be able to pay my landlord because I think he's wonderful and because I don't want to screw him over ever. You know, I want to be able to take care of those things. I want to have chocolate ice cream in my freezer every day and not have to worry about it when my daughter calls me for $20. I want to be able to do those things like normal people. And I have the means. I have what I need. I just need I don't I don't do alcohol. I don't eat food either anymore even. Tobacco. And anyway, you guys, I'm sorry I got on here and acted like a big baby. And, in the beginning, and I really do want to talk, like I said, I do want to just do one show where I talk about all of this stuff that I'm finding out about, other YouTube channels that are profiting off of us, that are pretending to be like us, but then I, dig a little deeper and I'm finding out that they're connected to Apple or Google or someone and they're pretending to be just like us. And they're not really us. They're just making the money that we could be making because they're out here pretending to have lived the lives that we lived. Robert, I can't afford to eat. It's so stupid. Oh my God, I gotta go. I love you guys. I mean, I can't even keep any money in the bank. I don't know how. I don't know how. And I do because people are still making money off of us. I'm looking at like the healthcare and they're making money off of us that way, you guys. I was getting paid. I was getting paid and then ugh, you can hear me, right? Yeah, now you can. Clara gave you my email address. Thank you guys. And I really didn't mean to get on here and act all cry. That wasn't my intention. My intention was to talk about the Google overtaking everything and controlling what we say and and keeping us from each other. Really, because I feel like that's what it's doing. It's keeping us from each other. Claire, I hope you can hear me. I appreciate it, and, I'm gonna go wash my face and get ready to go deliver food because I can't taxi people because I can't let my car go over 45. Ugh, I am trying, you guys, I'm really trying. Have a good afternoon, and when I come back later, I won't cry like a big sissy. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Thanks, Robert. Bye.